Battery 40%. to ban. Alliances turn to ban. Team Liquid's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Alliances turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Team Liquid's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
We got ourselves Team Liquid taking on Team Alliance here in Group B,
Alliances
and there is
turn
so
to pick.
much still on the line because both of these teams still have a shot at, I believe, somewhere making it to upper brackets. Mostly Alliance has a little bit of a bigger chance for that one, but also both teams still have a chance of getting eliminated, for which Team Liquid is a little bit on higher contention of that. It is going to be a bloodbath, it's going to be a fun one, and we are already well in the draft here with Kyle and Effie, and they're going to say smart things about Dota heroes.
Well, I'll let Effie take the lead as Liquid let out with her favorite hero.
You can stand on this monitor.
10 seconds remaining.
And it is indeed the Earth Spirit.
Yes, the best hero in Dota 2
5 seconds
has
remaining.
been selected. No, Earth Spirit feels really good this patch
Team
somehow, right?
Liquid's
Because
turn
it
to ban.
feels like the low cooldown stunning type heroes who are always ready to fight have been the ones that have had the most success. And that's why we've seen something like Pango rise to prominence as well. So it's going to be cool to see that. Liquid is just probably going to go with the flow and draft run at you low cooldown things.
I haven't seen
10
Bloodseeker's
seconds
from this tournament, but it keeps getting banned out in the following phase. Liquid, they just
5
swipe it up
seconds
because they already
remaining.
see the Pango, and I don't know. I'm big on historical openings in Dota 2, and Earth Spirit Bloodseeker has always been one of my favorites ever since Newbie, going all the way back to TI7, 3 games in a row. Their opening against
turn to
LFY, a
ban.
team I thought was significantly better than them. They still take that series. Love this combo because, as Zeffy said, it is very up-tempo. Earth Spirit does a ton of AoE damage within fights. Bloodseeker just gets immediate move speed, damage. It's just sick. I
10
like it.
seconds remaining.
You can do the Rupture Kick combo,
That's true.
which is a
5
nice amount of
seconds
damage. It's not
remaining.
a huge amount of damage, but it's nice. It does do damage, and Earth Spirit provides the low cooldown lockdown that Bloodseeker does need.
Yep.
So people just don't TP out. That's his biggest issue, right? People TPing out
Yep.
when he goes on them. So Earth Spirit corrects that. Whereas on the side of Alliance, Pango Lion is also a very strong opener. The only issue with it is it does seem like they're opening up with their support duo. Obviously, Pango can be flexed, and that's one of his greatest strengths. But for the most part, we've seen him have the most success as a 4 or a 5,
Yep.
particularly the 5 role actually,
Yeah.
because he has been defending towers very well without
Team
dying.
Liquid's
Can I
turn
say
to
how happy I
alliances
am
turn
about
to
this
ban.
opening from Alliance? Because both of these two heroes, they haven't played the entire tournament so far, and we keep saying like we want them to switch things up. Who's gonna play the Pango? Because is FNG gonna try it out? It's not an
think so.
FNG style hero, but I would love to see it.
It's the spiritual successor
10
to the
seconds remaining.
original Team Fighting 5, you know, the Puppy Brewmaster.
5
You just have
seconds
brown boots
remaining.
and cast your ultimate. I feel like Pangolier kind of accomplishes the same. Abby's talked about it a bit, but the change to the W, now that it's guaranteed slow in addition to the damage reduction and damage, it's just, you know, you see 1-4-1 is the build, and Pango just shield crashes, pops ulti, and it's like the a core's worth of damage in a team fight, even though you're playing the game with absolutely 0 items. So can obviously still be a core. I just think it's a lot better suited for the 5 position because it's a pretty solid laner now.
He also excels in skirmishes and early tower defense and things that maybe other supports have to wait for. He can do.
It's like what Wyvern did last patch as well, where later on in the game, you know, a laning phase ends, carry goes off to the jungle. Well, I'm just going to sit my Pango at the tower. He'll get levels. If you want to dive him, he's going to spam his W, kill waves, take a long time to die, and if he's 6, you don't want to contest a tower with a level 6 Pango at it. Doesn't matter if he's support.
Right, and the thing about old Wyvern is he did die if he got dove. Like if they rotated heroes, he would die eventually. And right, he did make space by drawing people to his lane and going behind the tower.
5 seconds remaining.
Obviously, you would prefer, as a core player, to not have your support die at all. And Pango does a very good job at just being sneaky enough and durable enough to defend that tower for as long as possible. And I think what a lot of teams have been doing recently is they've just been trying to get that safe lane tower really early on in the game. And especially with these Beastmaster and Lycan picks. So counteracting that by supports like this is what most teams have to do.
You can see a lot of these pro teams have been taking some insight from one of the just masterminds of our game, Jenkins, who really outlined the order at which you need to be taking buildings. It starts with the enemy safe lane, then you can look to go for that enemy mid tower.
Alliances
That
turn
is
to
definitely
ban.
the status quo at the moment. Bans pretty on par for Team Liquid just to remove Nico Baby heroes.
Yep.
And not just Nico baby heroes, but these are the durable type of carries that Bloodseeker doesn't particularly like to play against. Right, Medusa's hard to kill. Even though she has been nerfed, and I don't think she's that
10
great of a
seconds
hero
remaining.
anymore. But same with Void, you can just time walk out. You can time walk
5
out of like
seconds
the
remaining.
Bloodseeker silence and things like that. It's just a hassle.
Yeah, and Lifestealer just has
Alliances turn
both a
to
rage to avoid the silence of Bloodseeker and, you know, just remove Earth Spirit from the game, but you can also infest away if you do get ruptured. I like these bans. Liquid's Bane has always been these like huge team fight spells because they like to run in. We saw them in the game where Mickey was playing Tiny.
Team Liquid's turn to
They
pick.
have this tendency, they'll be 12-0, but they'll make that one mistake and they'll end up losing a game. And you don't want to give the enemy these huge I win heroes that maybe take one fight and suddenly you're on the back foot.
More flex heroes from Alliance. Sand King has been played by both Limp and S4 and Hanskin this tournament, so
10
they got
seconds remaining.
they got a lot of options already.
Yeah, and Alliance
5
are doing the
seconds
thing
remaining.
that most teams have been shifting towards, which is just drafting low cooldown, non-team fight dependent heroes, and they have just that with Lion, Pango, and Sand King. Obviously, Sand King and Lion do have long cooldown ultimates, but that's not really what they're played for. It's just that stun more than anything. So I expect to see a lot of brawling so far in this game even. So it's going to be a matter of which team sets up for it better.
And it's interesting because Sand King, it used to be this like NA only hero that always just looked bad in a draft. It was like clockwork. You're like, oof, maybe, you know, maybe it's got a perfect game. Whereas nowadays, every time Sand King gets picked up, I just feel like, oh, that's good. Like, it's just nice. Just got a stun. You're going to shove the wave. It's pretty impossible to lose the lane nowadays because you're just backlaning with Sandstorm.
It's more than just nice at this point. I feel like it's kind of broken because it's been winning
Yeah.
a lot. Every time we watched a Sand King game, I'm like, wow, this hero is having such high impact. And I can attribute this to a lot of things, actually, but I think it has a lot to do with the more favorable offlaners of the last patch falling off, such as Dragon Knight and Mars, which you would typically pick for your disable in your team
Team
fight.
Liquid's turn to pick.
Also, the reemergence of melee safe lane carries as opposed to the Lunas and Medusas have made this hero go up in value because where he struggled before, he thrives playing versus melee heroes.
Yep, I would agree. This is something have not seen. Well, it's coming back a little bit in the Rubik.
10
and I
seconds
swear, it's like the
remaining.
closer you get to TI, there's this list of heroes: Earthshaker, Rubik,
5
Chen.
seconds
They're always
remaining.
back in the meta. I don't know if the patch's like purpose is to ensure that, but no matter what Ice Frog does, it happens. Really nice setup. I like the support duo a
Alliances
bit,
turn
but
to pick.
Templar
TA
Assassin.
again. Team Liquid, they refuse to stay away from it. It doesn't matter if they have Sumail or they bring Boxy back. TA.
I mean, it must have felt good yesterday. It was the only time they played it was against PSG LGD. It must have felt good for them to put it on Mickey still.
10
but I would
seconds
think that it
remaining.
would be Mickey playing the Bloodseeker, so this would be a quick for TA.
5 seconds
TA
remaining.
is just in general fallen off, right? There's just there has been some nerfs, and it's enough for most people to not pick her anymore.
Yeah.
Well, we had that interview with 33, and he said something like she's gotten weaker on lane because she can't reach the range creep anymore. So I still haven't verified that, but I'm sure he's right about that, right?
Yeah.
So having little quality of life changes where your laning gets a little bit harder and your stacking gets nerfed because of what they did to the side blade spill damage. With each like, what was it? Every target goes on by 5%. Just things like that. Your stack is dying that much slower, and your lane is going that much weaker. And all of these things add up, and the hero just feels like it misses its timings by a minute or two. And really, all you need is a minute or two, Kyle.
Yep, and Alliance are just like, they're gonna deny this mid lane. You do not want to be playing against a Viper anymore as a TA. It just makes the game hard, especially Limp's Viper. This man is one of the best laners in Dota, has been for some time. And you know, not to critique Liquid's draft too early, we still don't know what their last pick is, but this is kind of like my concerns with their conceptualization of Dota, because it's a lot more about like setting up their individual players for success. It's like all cores need good games for them to feel good, whereas I much prefer somebody willing to like take the sacrificial role, because right now I look at this draft, there isn't like this huge power spike, right? What's the is it like double BKB on your cores?
10
kind of,
seconds
but
remaining.
like what's the big team fight setup? A roll in, a Rubik? You don't really have much to deal
5
with
seconds
BKBs right
remaining.
now, just damage. But at the same time, you don't have any steroids. There's no Empower, there's no Vanjors, there's no Chen auras.
Team Liquid's turn to
It
ban.
feels like they're either all in on the auras, like we saw with that Lycan game from the other day, or they're gonna just try and outskill you and just put everybody on comfort heroes.
At this point, though, if you're Team Liquid and you see that Viper, does that make you want to put TA safe lane, Bloodseeker off lane, and just pick something else mid
10
altogether, or are
seconds
you just
remaining.
gonna be okay with sacking anybody mid?
Trouble, right? Their
5
first pick, so
seconds
no matter what they do,
remaining.
Alliance will
Turn
see
to
it.
ban.
Sure.
They'll have should be able
Team
to have
Liquid's
favorable
turn
lane
to
from
pick.
return.
I think that's Alliance's read too with their Lina ban. They're just gonna assume they're gonna move the Bloodseeker to the off lane and the TA to the safe lane, because typically you don't want to lane against Viper. But Alliance have the ability to move this Viper around and chase the TA. So TA used to have a bad matchup versus Viper, especially
10
on lane.
seconds remaining.
But with the new way she's been played, her matchup in the game isn't that bad. Right? 'Cause
5
she
seconds
fights from
remaining.
very long range, and she builds Dragonlance, and she had that talent. But like I said, she got weaker, and Viper is a traditional counter to TA, whereas a lot of TAs beat Vipers last patch. It's going to be a lot harder this patch, especially with the re-emergence
Alliances
of these
turn
Pangolier
to
type
pick.
volley heroes.
There's a Razor, traditionally something you could put up against a Viper, and at least he won't have too much of a horrible lane.
So this is where I disagree with the competitive scene a bit, because I actually really like Viper against Razor.
Okay.
The Q damage is pretty significant. Razor kind of has to go
10
BKB early
seconds
on,
remaining.
but if you do, ultimate pierces, so you get this massive slow,
You may now
and you're
select
dependent
your
on
heroes.
this full link to really be able to deal effective damage. And yeah, just straight for a Morphling
It's a good Morphling game.
pretty much guarantees Alliance are going to have the late game. They have tons of team fight and lockdown, and I look at Liquid again. All these heroes, they're playing for themselves. There's nothing to really help out any of the cores in terms of their damage dealing. It's just have good solid lanes, everybody buy a BKB, get Roche, and kill the enemy heroes.
Yeah, I don't know. This is where last pick comes in, and Liquid had to be flexible with their heroes because they needed to dodge some of these lanes, but they just got this last pick Morphling, and Liquid don't have enough for it. Like, Morphling can die versus his heroes, but he'll get to a point where, look at the heroes who are playing behind him. Sand
Foxy
King
TA.
and Lion.
Off-lane TA.
They're playing a Sand King and a Lion and a Pangolier. Like, Morphling just is set up for success this game. I think
Totally agree. The Razor, it's nice,
rough.
but it's now just straight up countered in the game by the Morphling. And the mid lane against Viper really isn't super favorable for you. At worst case scenario, he's just going to spam Nether Toxin, push the wave.
What? Okay, so we all are in agreement that Team Liquid seems a little bit outdrafted in this one. So what's important for them to have a good game? Like, what are we looking for? Should they just not get stumped in the lanes? Is it that simple?
Taiga better eat his Frosted Flakes, because he's got to be great.
There's a lot on Earthspirit's shoulders to find these early game kills, and then maybe they can do something from there and hit their TA timing. But what is this box?
What TA time? It's offlane TA.
What is this box? I don't understand it. I don't understand it, but hey, maybe they know something we don't.
As a concept, it is really good against Pango and Morph in lane, right? You can't really remove Refraction. Morph lane, significantly lower range than the Viper, so this Sniper Blade nerf isn't as effective. It's a little kooky, but could work.
It could work. If it will work, because we're heading over to our commentary team for game number 1. It's Moxie and Synderin.
All right, Cinder, I have to ask you,
Prepare
how much
for
of this
battle.
is a 4D chest and adjustment, and how much of it is that Liquid just kind of got boxed into a corner?
Yes, that is the question of the series. It really is, and of this game. I have no idea what this TA is going to do. I genuinely am just confused, but if there's something Liquid have done in the past, it has been swapping their players into different core positions in different lanes. So perhaps it looks funky with Boxy playing the TA, but let's see if it's going off lane to begin with. Like, there's no guarantee that that's even what they're going to do. He has what seems to be a safe lane item build here. Maybe Mickey doesn't like playing TA. Maybe that's what it is. And they're like, okay, we don't want to put TA mid against Viper for Koikro, so we'll put
30
Boxy
seconds
safe lane
to
and play
battle.
Mickey in the off lane on Bloodseeker, or...
I mean, that is one of the strengths, right, with Team Liquid, is the fact that they've always been very, you know, forgive the expression, very liquid with the way that they can move around their players. So perhaps they have a plan in mind here to be able to give them the most comfortable lanes.
Boxy is... Yeah, how is that balanced? No, wait, he is going offlane. All right, offlane TA. Okay.
The battle begins.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I love creativity in Dota. I think it's fun to watch new strategies. I am saying this with a moderate amount of skepticism about what Liquid have going on here. But I would, you know, it's one of those things where you just love to be blown away by something you haven't seen before, right? Like the mid coddle we had the other day. It's really fun when teams do something different. I don't think this is the first time ever that T has been played offlane. It's not like something ridiculous, but it is very rare, and usually it's been kind of like a forced error, so to speak. I think that is the case here as well. I don't think they would have done it if not for Viper. But we'll see if they can pull it off. They are playing against a lane consisting of Pango and Morph, which is not the strongest lane, so I think they could technically pull off a decent first few waves, at least for TA, get a couple of levels, and then maybe you can transition into some semi-jungling kind of play. Because I don't think you can just stay top forever, probably. But for now, I think Boxy should be okay.
I guess my question is, traditionally speaking, you know, your offlaner tends to be something very durable, tends to be something that's going to be an initiator team fight sort of deal, and the offlane TA doesn't quite provide that same utility, so to speak. So how do they adjust further on this?
I think maybe there's a couple of options, right? You can go utility kind of route on Razor. I think what you don't want to do is go, oh, hang on, Taiga actually rolled in, and he's being punished very, very hard for this roll. I think he will live, but obviously the meld strike from Boxy doing some good damage. I think what you don't do is go right click on all three cores, right? Like, they shouldn't all be going for this similar type of scaling build. Oh, Nico baby.
There's the roll, the kick back.
Oh, I missed the meld attack. Nico's fine. Fortunately got outranged slightly.
Uh-oh, the courier though.
Radiant's courier has been
FNG
killed.
getting himself a nice pick here.
Little easy grab there. So yeah, what you do is you probably play utility on, I want to say, the Razor this game. I think Yule's BKB into maybe Hex could be a build. And then you have TA and Bloodseeker as the primary damage dealers. I think it's a good game for Bloodseeker to potentially just hard carry in, because you shut down Pangolier very nicely with Rupture. And I don't see Alliance having overwhelming damage against a BKB carry right now. So if you get into the fights with Earth Spirit, you get some good damage out. You could do something like this, just, you know, ramp it up.
Oh, the burrow strike from S4. Enough to save Hanskin there. Very, very close.
Hanskin has to go back to base though, and he is low health, so this is obviously fun time for Bloodseeker. He's very fast.
No blood for you.
And S4 needs to be at least a little bit careful. And Mickey will just heal to full as well from these creeps. Very nice and easy. Looking pretty good for Alliance for starters here. Yeah, good stun. We're going to see the replay here. They actually layered their stuns. Hanskin wasn't sure if he was going to get the stun from S4 in time, so he ends up stealing Hex, which is in my opinion, further good news for Liquid in that bottom lane. I think it's more annoying to play against a line with mana drain this early. When you're playing a lane like Bloodseeker and Rubik, who really need their mana to cast these key spells, having the mana drain would have been nice. But now all he has is more chain stun that, realistically speaking, they don't really find kills with down here. Bloodseeker's just too strong. So Liquid doing pretty well in their lanes here.
Is it almost better in some situations to actually just, instead of getting a full-on kill, have you know, the enemy team sitting very low, so that way Mickey gets that little bit of a boost?
You can make a case for that, absolutely. Oh, FNG. Just the roll.
Yeah.
Mango, he's fine. He can mango and jump.
There's that the kiss, but he does end up wasting that salve, unfortunately.
He actually salved instead of mango swashbuckling and then salving. He took the risk about whether he would outrange or not. Interesting. All right. I think that's a little bit of a mistake there, but yeah. 2 points in Meld, as pointed out. So a lot of damage coming out from the Meld strike. Another.
Taiga's been a little bit off the mark today on some of those rolls. He's usually very, very on point.
It's difficult to hit these rolls. I don't think he's playing it poorly. Honestly, a lot of the time, I don't want to say it comes down to luck, because I feel like that's just a bad excuse, right? But there's a lot of situations in these laning stages where heroes' movements will be, you know, unpredictable. Players at this level don't just stand still with their hero and attack the creeps, right? They move side to side, they sometimes step forward, etc.
Ooh, nice play here from Hanskin, jumping back as they'll follow up with the Sandstorm, follow with the Burrow Strike. I think Hanskin's still dead here, but they're putting on a decent amount of damage over onto Mickey, but it's a Bloodseeker. So he is going to be able to just heal right back up again, and he does have a... I was hoping maybe he can get a little more speed burst off of this. But
if there's a 5 you want first blood on, it's Rubik, right? That's got to feel Rubik. He's one of the greedier 5s. Liquid love playing this hero on Insania. He needs that gold to get mana boots, so he can have way more impact in the game. But yeah, just to finish off on the top thought, you're playing Earth Spirit with TA. She sets you up literally nothing, right? She has no slow, no stun, nothing. So you need to hit these blind rolls.
there we go.
That's one.
Just like that.
Too impactful, unfortunately, but actually ends up taking probably 2 times the damage himself to out of the Morphling. He might even
this around.
die.
This is not looking great for Taiga.
That
Down,
like
both
nerf.
of them. Oh no, but FNG eventually run down by Boxy.
That was the most pitiful adaptive strike I've ever seen.
That was a baby strike, baby strike.
40 damage. Oh, that spell has been nerfed. That's a very good silent flip combo, and S4 will get the stun, but Insania should. Whoa, he hit the same thing.
He's just gonna. Oh, look at this. He wanted it, and he's not gonna be able to get it. Again, that is the second time that Hanskin has been able to run away with very little health. But Taiga, going perhaps just a bit too far, will fall in that top lane.
I think if this, yeah, we're gonna see it here. So, oh, nice impact move. Here comes. Let's see it. 182 health. Oh, that's a level 5 morph. I mean, he's obviously strength a decent amount into morphed into a decent amount into strength, right? So it's, but it's, yeah, definitely noticeable. The base damage of Adaptive Strike having been nerfed 30 this patch is very, very noticeable in situations like that. Even with the old Adaptive, I think Taiga still lives there, but it would have been close. But yeah, unfortunately, bottom there for Liquid, that was just a missed opportunity. I think Insania meant to click his attack on the Lion, but hit the Sand King by mistake, and as a result, Taiga gets, or Hanskin does get away.
He's been living very close to the edge down in this lane multiple times now. But luckily, when you have this sort of disable coming out from a Sand King and from a Lion, helps out quite a bit.
And we're seeing in action what Kyle was talking about. The Viper is actually beating Razor in lane, and historically speaking, this lane has had different variations. There's been times when Razor would flat out totally stomp it, then there's been versions where Razor would win it slightly. And now we might be at a point, especially with this side camp farming meta and with just overall the way Vipers have adapted to the situation, where Viper might just win this lane hands down. Just push out the wave with Nevertoxin, go farm small camp, and never really give Razor the opportunity to kill us. But the world found one here.
Yeah, he was just walking his Lion, you know? Sometimes you gotta do that. But yeah, I mean, another thing too, we've talked a lot about Limp's Viper in the past, and this is a guy who very much knows what he's doing. He's also just great at laning, as mentioned earlier. So definitely going to be taking advantage of the fact that there are these changes, and he is given the ability to just, you know, move off to the side.
Also found a really nice neutral item. I think this is potentially the best one you can find for Viper early on. The Fairy Trinket, spell damage, mana cost reduction, as well as health is just perfect. You know, you want to push out lanes, so you benefit from all of these things. And everything just ramps up that little bit faster. I think Viper players would have that or Ocean Heart probably. And I think he found both, but sent the Ocean Heart back to base. So that kind of shows what he prioritizes there. Ocean Heart obviously great in the mid lane, so you get the value out of the river. But currently sitting on the way to S4 on his Sanking. Pretty even early game though. Liquid, all things considered, have
Radiant's
skeptical about the
middle
offlane
tower is
TA. She's
under
farmed.
attack.
So definitely one thing checked
Dire
off
are scanning.
here. Top net worth for Boxy's offlane TA. Now what I'm curious about is how are they going to put the prioritization in their lineup now? Are they going to start giving Boxy the triangle to farm and play him like a traditional TA basically? Or is there something else in the cards here? He's hovering Blink Dagger after treads with a maxed out Meld Strike, so really playing the assassin part of Templar Assassin rather than the build your temple part in the Ancients part of Templar in Assassin. Yeah, that was awful.
That was great.
I know that was terrible. So he's going to be looking to, I guess, snipe the Lion and the Pango primarily in this strategy. And more than anything, the moment a Tia goes in and just immediately bursts someone, that's good
Radiant's
news for Bloodseeker, right? So there's some
attack.
synergy there in how they set each other up for success.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent and sort of like, you know, we talked about having the assassin, someone moving around, basically putting that pressure on the map. The fact that, you know, these supports have to be very, very careful. TA also, of course, providing vision, using the traps is always a really nice thing. So I wouldn't be surprised to see her moving around a little bit and maybe trying to stay off map until she can find a pickup. But with the Blink Dagger no longer being the case, maybe more traditional.
Yeah, it seems to be the case. If he wants to go Dragonlance, I think he probably continues into the Deso. And there is the good news here, right? No matter what build Razor and Bloodseeker go, even if they do go some sort of hybrid or caster-like build with Yules, the Miner's Armor is still good for them. These heroes still right-click in fights, they do the damage. So I could definitely see a Deso being valuable for their strategy. But yeah, at that point, maybe you're a little bit concerned, right? I think it's something they were talking about in the panel. Who makes the plays if not Taiga, right?
Right.
They are finding a really, really good farm, and they will give the Ancient stack over here to Boxy. Found a DD rune, very convenient. And again, his level 9, minute 10. This is bordering on free farm mid lane levels, and he was sharing the lane for a bit with that Earth Spirit. So
yeah. Currently
good.
Top net worth on the TA thanks to that double damage and some nice stacking coming out from Taiga. So Boxy's got to be feeling very, very confident. Like you said, it's interesting to see, you know, farm priority. I thought that would, you know, be going over to Mikke's Bloodseeker, but perhaps it's the idea of Boxy coming online a little bit faster, especially, you know, with the lane that he's had. And perhaps he can make more use of it now, so that way Mikke has more breathing room later on.
One thing's for sure, if you pick TA and you don't let the hero farm, it's just bad, right? Like it has to get gold. So it was just a matter of how is it going to use its first few thousand gold. Is it the assassin route and then you find the gold through kills, or is it the farming route? And it does seem to be the farming. So I don't think they're going to give Mikke as such. I think they're still considering him the position 1 of the strategy, more than likely. Or maybe they're like, wow, what's better than one position 1? It's having 2 of them. What if we just have the exact same gold all game?
That map, though. Bottom lane, Viper Strike. Hunskin trying to take some of this mana away. Mikke running, finger comes out. They have the kill.
Nicely done.
But over on the other side here, they spot FMG. The roll coming out from Taiga is not quite sure exactly the angle, but they'll make their presence known as they make some movement towards this mid tower.
Yeah, Earth Spirit is never going to be good against Pango in situations like that if you have Swashbuckle ready. Your roll is extremely telegraphed. You can always just choose to Swashbuckle away. FMG actually still doesn't have another Swashbuckle because he's a 1-3-1 build, but Koikfa maybe identifying too late that there was a potential kill there, at least at forced ult.
Quite a few bodies now over in this mid lane as they are trying to protect over on this tower. It's kind of interesting that they're forcing this. Obviously, this tower is very, very important.
This is a good spell still, by the way.
Definitely.
And Sania can just be on mid duty now if he wants. He has a better version of Nether Toxin, obviously, by having that. Even just 1 point in Arcane Supremacy is really nice. 14% spell amp, you see it there on the Nether Toxin. Does a lot of damage. They have a couple of ways of keeping heroes somewhat contained in the Toxin if they want to fight with it too. Like Earth Spirit Stun, Earth Spirit Slow, TA Traps, Plasma Field helping out a little bit maybe, like, but it's not great by any means. Maybe Rupture.
Yeah, I mean, that works. I mean, you do have to kind of sidestep a little bit, but
yeah.
They have options, and they also...
He's going back for the dagger
Radiant's
again.
bottom
So he just
tower is
wants
under
the value
attack.
Dragonlance. Maybe felt like, okay,
Dire's
if I buy
top tower
dagger,
is
we're not
under
going to
attack.
find the fights anyway, so I might as well buy a farming item instead, which is... It's a healthy mentality to have. I think buying,
Dire are
you know,
scanning.
sometimes you can
Dire's
buy
top
items for the
tower has
potential of
fallen.
using them. You're like, oh, I'll buy a BKB in case we're getting into a fight where I need BKB, or I can buy a dagger if fights break out. I think it's more important to buy them specifically
Radiant
to use them right away.
are
Yeah, this,
Yeah, that is our first epicenter coming out.
Radiant's
As
middle
able to
tower
get the
is
kill on
under
Mickey.
attack.
Insania has grabbed himself the Burrow Strike, though. He's going to try to hide over on the side. Koifa turning around. They see Hanskin. They'll take out the Lion, and woo, that's a big ol' hit there coming out as Insania takes out FNG. That was the reveal of the Blink Dagger on the Sand King, and the first time I think that we saw the epicenter used, but it seems like Liquid was very prepared for this.
yeah, they rotated really quickly with TPs, and they're going to immediately turn this into their own push, but...
There's going to be the follow-up set from Insania. Another burst over onto S4.
Dire's
Nico
top
Baby is
tower
just getting
is under
held with
attack.
that leash. Taiga trying to crawl away. Had 5 stacks of that toxin on him, but he's just going to roll on out.
Radiant
They can
structures
reset.
are fortified.
Yeah, not bad for
Dire's
Liquid. They
middle
really want to
tower
finish
is
off this
under
tower.
attack.
Very understandable. Sand King being
Dire's
dead, the primary
structures are
defender
fortified.
of this. They know there's no Pango ult. And Alliance making the wise choice here
Dire's
to just be
middle
like, you know
tower
what, you
has
guys can have
fallen.
it. We can't defend it anymore. And that's good stuff from Liquid. They get a couple of kills on the response and the dive on their Bloodseeker, and they immediately turn into something big. Nice Sparrow Strike here from Insania. If Taiga would have had, I don't know if he didn't have more stones or what it was, but I think he didn't connect the full roll. If he would have connected on Morph there and had a silence, that could have potentially even turned into a double. But this is one of the godliest spells you can have on Rubik. Burrow Strike is so damn good, and he would love to get that all game. Maybe only second to Pangolier ult. Rolling Thunder, of course, incredible. On Rubik, it has no cast time, and you look really cool. And you should never underestimate what looking cool is like. I tried it today. It's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, the sunglasses were really great with the shirt.
Yeah,
It looked like
really
you were
great.
headed off to a coffee shop there to go write your novel. But Taiga running right into FNG. This was, of course, a smoke gank. So, as usual fashion here, the position 4 tanking the gank does get rolled directly into S4, and though a kill.
Schofield cosplay right there. Taiga. Maybe Schofield would have got...
He would have lasted a little bit
would've
longer,
lasted a
running
little
around
longer. I
in
was just gonna
circles,
say,
made them work for it.
They
but,
would have found
yeah.
a juke somehow for a little bit, but still died. But yeah. Lions get that pick. What they would ideally...
Oh, they're going to get themselves
the
a
melt.
return. Oh, they didn't finish off, though.
He felt the Melt Strike, I think. Still only 1 level in the side blades, and that's noticeable. He needs to be very, very close. A little bit of a slip up there for Boxy. But yeah, Lions find that kill, but they don't get any meaningful progress out of it. They push the bottom lane slightly, but they're not getting like a
Dire's top
tower. They're
tower
not setting up
is
for
under
Roche.
attack.
We are 16 minutes in, and you're against a lineup that has Bloodseeker TA, so Roche is definitely on the menu here. So Alliance, I think, would love to start playing more into the top half of the map and maybe get the mid tower, if possible.
That should help.
But honestly, this Radiant lineup is actually very difficult to push against, especially considering Alliance's tower hitters are more than lackluster. You need Morphling to be farmed before you have any meaningful tower damage, and he's just not there yet on Nico Baby. And it is dangerous for Morph to go and hit a tower. You can get comboed really, really quickly. You can get caught by an Earth Spirit Silence roll combination into Bloodrite Rupture and just
Dire are
TA
scanning.
with 2 attacks. Oh, nice from S4.
S4 is going to go for the FE. They need to cancel out the TP, and they do not.
That was so perfect from S4 though. He managed to Burrow Strike the Yuke from the Razor, but still. Nico
Radiant's
Baby
top tower
couldn't
is
have
under
canceled
attack.
that TP with
Yeah,
Strength Adaptive Strike.
yeah, it was up.
You'll
The
never
observers
know
won,
the
they underlined it.
mysteries.
Uncharacteristic. Well,
Radiant's top tower
they're getting the
is under
objective as it
attack.
looks,
No.
at least for now.
Are they? Because they're about to roll on in for Taiga.
Dire's
Bit off the
middle
mark
tower
again, but they
is
lend the
under
silence.
attack.
As Manta is completed, though. A couple of the magnetize roll forward over onto Nico, baby. That's for a little bit short over there, perhaps. But
Dire's
they're
bottom
still
tower
hunting now.
is
They
under
turn back
attack.
around for Taiga. Mickey is here. He's taking a lot of damage, though. They take down S4 over on the other side. Taiga gets clicked down by Limp.
Flesh is
And the
weak.
rest of Alliance looks like they just want to walk away.
Well, it looks like Nico is going to be completely fine and get out of that situation. They didn't have enough to chain with it. TA didn't manage to really
For the
connect on the Earth
twins.
Spirit opener. And yeah, he gets ruptured, but then he was like, hey, I'm Morphling, so I'm just going to hit you. And Bloodseeker was like, oh shit, you're Morphling, so I'm not winning this fist fight yet with the items that I have unless I'm far ahead in the fight. And Nico Baby's rupture just ran out, and then he waveformed away. So very easy for him to survive that situation. Boxy is still not going Deso. He's actually going BKB next. All right. I'm a little bit concerned with this offlane TA's damage output. You need to consider a little bit of a Viper Strike trade-off here. Insania, I'm
I don't think he's
down
going
too
to
late.
hold on to that. No, indeed. As they'll follow up over on Razor, Koifa. It's going to be the Yules. Try to buy some more. Oh, the figure coming in will just ensure that they finish off Koifa, and they found themselves Taiga as well. Roll forward right into an enemy, and
Radiant's
that's a double
top
kill
tower
now for
is
them.
under attack.
And the tower.
Dire's middle
tower.
tower is under
And
attack.
maybe an opening
Radiant's
for
top
Roche.
tower
You have 30
has fallen.
seconds on the Razor. You have decent position here. Pango can help out a little bit on Roche. Does he have any points in Lucky Shot? I think he has one, so that's at least that minus armor. The value point for Roche, the four armor reduction is decent, but it's only 2
Battery
second duration,
30%.
so kind of hard to keep it up, I suppose. But they're not gonna go for it. It looks like Alliance are just chilling, playing the area. Happy to get the tower and a couple of kills. But yeah, here's my concern with TA, just to finish that off. You've put 10,000
Radiant's
net
top
worth on this hero.
tower is under attack.
She does not have a damage item. I'm worried that you don't get enough bang for your buck by going this build. Like usually mid TAs, when they go this kind of Dragonlance into BKB build, it's usually not with a Blink Dagger as part of the build, because then you're just delaying your damage. So usually you would see like Dragonlance BKB Deso, or Dragonlance BKB MKB, or Daedalus, whatever is better for the game. But when you're doing the dagger as a bridging item, or whatever you want to call it, he's just not hitting that hard for 11,000 gold right now. And when he finishes the BKB, I'm a bit worried he's just going to get Viper Struck, and then they're like, whatever, you know,
Yeah.
kill the other heroes. So I can't say I'm sold on the idea of this build right now, especially with Liquid not taking more initiative to find the kills after he got the blink. They made like one attempt that failed, and then they've kind of
Radiant
just been
are
chilling.
scanning.
I think it's very telling what his next item is for the game plan. He's going to go Shadow Blade.
This is an interesting build. I don't think this is what either of us were expecting to be seeing.
He switched it to Chrysalis.
Okay, well, there's your damage.
He switched it to Force Staff.
There's not your damage. I'm waiting for the next one.
Yeah, I'm waiting for him.
Yeah,
he's had 3 ideas in 10 seconds, which is good. It shows cognitive function, but
It's experimental, it seems. I think even, you know, it'd be interesting, depending on who ends up winning the series, obviously, to ask Liquid and just say, you know, was the TA, was this planned, or was this like, you know, fly by your seats? And Boxy said, yeah, I can do it. I can do it. Give me the TA, and we'll
he's clearly
figure it out.
experienced. Like, he plays this hero. I know Boxy plays TA,
But in the off-lane position within the team is what I mean.
off
scan.
and official, it's a little bit of a
Yeah,
step.
it's quite
but
different.
he's clearly at home on the hero and has a good understanding of the farming patterns and side blades.
They scan. They
Radiant's
know.
bottom
Yeah.
tower is
This
under
is a
attack.
very, very big moment.
They're smoked up around the sides. Throw forward, strike immediately over onto Mickey. He's the epicenter. BKB comes out from Koifa. It's an awkward position now for both teams, trying to find this opening. Lem coming forward,
Radiant's
they smoked
middle
up.
tower is under
Trying to
attack.
apply some of this toxic over here. Again, over onto Mickey, the jump forward from Boxy though. With that BKB gets popped here from the finger comes out though. Mickey is dead. Not going to be available.
Radiant's
as Hans gets
bottom
pushed
tower
down.
is under
Boxy's
attack.
still alive. Melt strike coming through. This is looking like a dead Boxy. Limbo clicking away on everyone. Koifa is next to fall. Nico Baby gets the kill, and Taiga is forced to run away. So this leaves a nice opening here for the side of Team Alliance to take this Roche.
Yeah. That's just a lot of things from Liquid that don't connect there. Bloodseeker gets 0 damage off. Earth Spirit misses his roll. And if these spells don't connect, you're just not winning these fights. Especially the
Sean
one
has
guy who's
fallen to the
consistently hitting in
danger.
that fight. Guess who? It's the guy we've been talking about the whole game. It's the TA with the BKB. he was almost fighting the entire time, and he still did less damage than the Morph. You're going to see it here. So they get this immediate stun onto Mickey and just blast him. Boxy is free to hit here with melt
Radiant's
strikes,
middle tower
with
is under
attacks
attack.
non-stop, but he's Viper struck
Radiant
first.
structures
He has
are
to melt here. He's
fortified.
dying if he tries to TP out, so swapping over and using Refraction here is good, but it's just... It's kind of pitiful compared to
Radiant's
having a damage build,
middle
but the
tower
downside is
has
if you had that,
fallen.
you would just been locked down the whole fight, right? Limp finding another one here with the help of Hanskin. And yeah, Alliance are just starting to build a very convincing lead here. I was going to point
Radiant's
out,
bottom
S4 is actually
tower is
very
under
poor
attack.
this game. I don't want to say they necessarily sacrificed him, but his net worth compared to the other cores is very far down. And I looked at him, I was like, wow, he has Ring of Health, Blink, minute 20.
The Blink team might got a
Radiant's
pretty
bottom
decent amount of
tower has
timing.
fallen.
Yeah, it's okay. He just hasn't really got much out of
Radiant's
that. And that's
middle
okay.
tower
Like, it's
is
not like
under
the farm is
attack.
going to waste. They're getting key items on other heroes, and he's performing his
Radiant's
function.
middle tower
But I was
has
a little
fallen.
bit concerned for him when I saw that. But the Euls is almost there now, so that's going to help a great deal. And most importantly, Ivy as well as Limp are thriving. And they're going to start taking more control of the map. Now, Alliance, they feel this advantage. They have the Aegis on the Morph flanks. They're starting to invade and take the enemy triangle. And Liquid now, seeing how far away they are from a BKB on the Bloodseeker, who went both Maelstrom and Echo Saber, also find that a little bit questionable in this game.
Dire's top tower is under
Their
attack.
itemization buildups is just so slow that I'm a little bit worried
Radiant
that if
are
they try to
scanning.
wait and farm this BKB on Mickey, they're just going to get punished even more around the map. So they might have to fight with what they've got.
Mickey's
Getting
being
you.
hunted right now. FNG with the Rolling Thunder will connect over onto Mickey, as is the Burrow Strike, and they even use the epicenter to boot, and that's a very dead Mickey, and that's going to open the doors here for Alliance to start hitting that base.
And in the meantime, Liquid were trying to make their own move. They got a ward out, but they didn't really find anything meaningful here.
Dire's bottom
They're
tower
going in a
is
bit
under
far
attack.
here. Found themselves
Radiant's
a little
middle
bit, switching
tower
back
is
and
under
forth
attack.
between. Nico Baby needs to be a bit careful. He's feeling pretty strong right now, but he's going pretty far as Taiga is being just busy over on the side getting hunted, but he'll find a kill on Insania. Leash is on here from Koifa. Nico turning around active out. Still being slowed here by this plasma field. He's taking so much of the damage currently, but FNG, he's here. Going to help follow up. Taiga the roll forward. Boxy having to use the BKB to teleport away, but Alliance, they still haven't lost anyone yet, as Koifa probably going to be able to find this kill on FNG. He doesn't quite have any mana. He's going to try to get the neutral crits, and he does.
Thanks, guys.
Actually got the
Much
deny.
blood.
That camp? Wow. I can't believe it.
He doesn't seem surprised at all. S4, though, the silence coming out might end up falling here, as he is also ruptured. So Mickey will finally get himself his revenge.
Couple kills for Liquid here, overall.
Look at this.
Good FNG, they got Hanskin earlier, and they obviously... So the proc from Razor's ult comes in right before, and oh, I guess, okay, so he has been hit by the Razor ult multiple times beforehand, so he has a lot of minus armor, and that's why they can't...
Oh, okay.
Right? I was like, he should not be taking this much damage from these creeps, but yeah, of course, with that negative armor, that'll do it.
Is it the enemy of my enemy is my friend sort of
Guess
deal?
so.
You know, those creeps, they really haven't been
Kind of,
enjoying.
yeah.
Okay, Koifa
Dire's
stuck
bottom
in the
tower
middle
is
of
under
quite
attack.
a few here. But they do manage to wipe off Hanskin. Now Boxy, the clicks are on, the Viper Strike is out. They're disarmed, the Rolling Thunder from FNG.
Dire's
Is
bottom
dropped,
tower
and they
is
get
under
themselves
attack.
another kill.
I think he had BKB TP the whole time there. I think Boxy could have just got out if he wanted to. There's no interrupts yet.
Dire's
There's no
bottom
Basher,
tower
there's
is
no
under
BKB
attack.
piercing spells at all. So, except Viper Strike, that isn't going to kill you, and it was already used, I think. Yeah, that's a big death. That felt avoidable to me. That's a very long range Lion stun. I think if you're Alliance, you take that. Like, cool, we got a TA kill. They know this is potentially the richest hero, which it is, but they obviously don't see the numbers. But richest hero on the Liquid team, and they just grab that and get out. Well, not even get out, they just move on.
Yep.
Koifa going for Blink Dagger.
I feel like you've got a lot of question marks on Liquid's choices recently in
Yeah.
this particular game. Is it just they're not playing tempo enough? Are you not happy that...
I think a lot of it kind of stems from what Kyle was talking about on the panel. The way their strategy works, there's no like inherently clear, obvious synergy between how their heroes combine. So it becomes very individualistic. So the heroes are buying the items that are good for them, but not really what's good for each other in the same sense. And the problem is, I'm trying to identify which items make them play well for each other, and the only one I've really come up with so far is the TA Deso, and they haven't bought that one. Mickey now having the BKB will start being able to have more of an impact in fights. He's been very quiet this game. Insania.
They have the burn strike on the line finger. They'll take out City. He's going to fly back immediately. So silence over on the back end. Tiger will fall. SMG's not looking at the other box. So the BKB TP out. He's going to try to leave Koifa here. It's not looking like he's going to be so lucky. It's a double kill for Nico, baby.
Nice and easy stun there for S4. He finds the Rubik. He's patient.
Radiant's top
Waits
tower
until someone
is
tries to
under
help the
attack.
Rubik, gets the double stun, and they get the double kill plus a buyback out from Rubik's. Actually 3 kills here. And this should be a tower, so we'll limp with that absolutely terrifying tower push that Viper does eventually get.
Radiant's
We'll take
top
that tower
tower
by
has fallen.
almost by himself very fast. I think Nico was lending a hand for a little bit. They might just go high ground here. They still have the... Wait, do they? They don't have the...
Radiant's top
I
tower
don't know if
is
they
under
need it.
attack.
I don't
Radiant
think so either.
Safe as
structures
Nico
are
baby here. I
fortified.
think it's very, very difficult for them to burst him. He knows he has the backup of a Blink Stun Sand King, a Blink Stun Lion, and of course Viper Strike. They even have the Pike on Limp that can save him too if he turns around. So, but they are eventually going to chill here for a bit, push out the waves, wait for Pango to potentially connect over again.
They have vision on S4 immediately. Burrow striking away. The rest of Alliance getting into the position. Mana drain here over on Rubik. Silence, Lincoln's pop. Foxy. Alright, he gets himself a quick pick. There's gonna be that rupture coming in. BKB over on Mickey. Nico baby trying to fight through here. It's gonna just move over, straight shift over. And now Mickey having to back off. They're still chasing after Nico baby. They have 3 people over at him. It's gonna still be surviving a little bit longer, but eventually he will fall to Koifa.
I expected better.
Limp having to TP. They have the vision though. He's not going anywhere, but probably his grave, as there are just too many heroes rolling around on top of him, and Taiga will end the kill streak.
Speaking of rolling, someone wasn't there who could have been rolling.
Invisibility.
This is where T says you're supposed to tip him for not being in the fight.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, T-Gon is a great guy. He really knows what's up. Yeah, they were missing their Pango. Lion got 0 damage out. He got stunned and burst down, so that's nice, of course, from Liquid. But yeah, Pango not being part of that fight whatsoever and never connecting, definitely a big problem there for Alliance. So you're going to see this fight break out here. Look, Pango's showing bottom, and in the meantime, they're sitting in this aggressive position. And yeah, you just can't get there in time.
Yeah.
Spread too thin.
We have another fight breaking out here, and Koifa will just happily take a kill.
Okay.
Money
falls.
changes hands. Perfect location.
Surprised he was just hanging around that area.
S4 walking onto a trap here.
It's got the had the Lotus on him, but no longer going to have this available. The Silence Burrow strike up to the high ground. Do they follow Sandstorm? Trying to buy a bit more time. But it looks like Alliance are just going to back off. They don't want to have to deal with Liquid right now. Not when they have so many people
Dire's
still
top
down.
tower is under attack.
And Foxy's going to take advantage of this to farm the triangle and, of course, find a couple of neutral items here. Getting the Ancient Camp. Plug of Flames. Decent item on the Earth Spirit, I think. And then maybe the Paladin Sword could go on Bloodseeker, I think. Should be pretty nifty for him.
Dire's top tower
He's going to
is
take the
under
Titan Sliver
attack.
for now, though, so maybe it's just going to end up on good old Razor. Let's go on Elven Tunic. Well,
Oh, we have
so many items nowadays. What are you going to pick?
I know you can really take your time, especially if you're in the position when you're like, no, I don't want that one. I'm waiting for a better one. You there, support, hand that over. The support's like, please, I have nothing. Yes, give me your Philo Stone too while you're at it.
Yeah, that's the worst one. That's when you're playing with core, some sort of core int hero, and they want their Philosopher's Stone, right?
Dire
Oh, man.
are scanning.
Lions considering making a move onto the high ground, although they know that Boxy's down here.